Hello hackers and welcome back. This week will be a pretty easy final. I know that most of you are probably ready to get done with your classes and sweating your final tests this week. And so I hope that the final that you do in my class will be easier than the ones that you do for the other classes. And I also hope that, just like this Frodo meme, you are very relieved when it will finally be over. So this will be a pretty easy week because for the first half of it, right, the syllabus instructs you to just chill. And the reason I wrote that is because I want to give myself time to be able to get feedback to you about your blogs so that you can incorporate that into your final. Before I get into explaining the final reflection a little bit more, so the final in this class is just going to be a final reflection. Just like you've posted your journal entries for each unit, you're going to post a final reflection entry, and you're going to reflect on not only this unit on the digital identity argument blog, but on the whole class in general. Now, why is it important to reflect on your learning like this? I think it's important because the more we think about our writing process, the more we think about thinking in general, the better we become at it. And this will help if you can reflect on your writing process and think about what works for you and what doesn't work for you. It will help you in your future courses when you're having to write those papers so that you can think about the process and what works. One thing that you can do while you're writing this final reflection is to look back at your previous journal entries. Remind yourself how those previous units went, and think about your writing process and what worked and what didn't work for you. It's best in these reflections to be honest, right? You want to be honest about your own writing process, be honest about what worked for you in the class, be honest about what didn't work for you in the class, whether that be my feedback or the peers' feedback or the group work. This also helps me think about how to make the class better for the future students. So also remember, these journals are private, so you could definitely, if group work didn't work out for you and you want to say that, that is okay. That will stay between me and you. So our final will just be one more reflective journal entry, at least 200 words. And remember to wait until Wednesday to do this so that you'll have the feedback from me on your final blog so that you can incorporate your response to that feedback into your final reflection. So that's going to be a pretty easy final, I hope. And this semester, you've all done a great job of doing a really tough thing, and that's what I call decoding genres. Basically, you read several examples of each genre, right? The narrative genre, the informative or report genre, and the argument genre. And then you picked apart what makes those genres what they are, what makes them different from the other genres, and use that information to create your own example. That's the basic steps for what I'm calling decoding genres. And this works with any genre. As long as you can find a few good examples, you can figure out what are the building blocks or the common codes or the expectations of that genre, and use those expectations to create an example of your own. So this process, I hope, will be helpful for you in your future classes as you encounter different and possibly more complex and specific genres. All right, well, that is it. This is the end of college writing online with me, and I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I was very entertained by your narratives. I was also very informed by your informational reports about all the different digital communities that exist out there on the internet. I also am very much looking forward to reading your persuasive arguments about how identity operates in those digital communities. Make sure, one thing I want to note is that make sure that if you're doing any late work, that you get it turned in by Friday, last Friday of the semester. That way I have time to give you the partial credit that you've earned and to get that into the grade book. All right, if anyone has any concerns or problems or reviewing your grade and you didn't get credit for something that you should have, please let me know as soon as possible. I want to make sure and get all the grades up so you have you have an exact idea of what your grade is before I have to turn those grades in. And I hope to see all of you, if not online in other classes, perhaps in face-to-face classes with me, or just around campus. If you do recognize me around campus, stop me and talk to me. I would love to hear how your classes are going next semester. All right. Well, hackers, I won't see you next time, but I hope to see you all online in some digital community or other.